My little smart car is, in my opinion, the greatest car in the world ever built. And I know you might laugh and mock me, however, I can justify it. The first ever car with removable interchangeable plastic panels. It does 60 miles to the gallon. You can park it the wrong way around in a car parking space. And look at the styling. It's just incredible to get all of those wonderful details in such a small vehicle. However, I think I can make it even better. I've got a plan to raise the suspension, put some ridiculous big knobbly tyres and wheels on it. Then, if I can go off-road, which obviously I'll be able to because it's rear-wheel drive, I think I need to be able to put a roof tent on the top with some silly spotlights. That is going to require an external roll cage to mount it all on. Sounds a bit daft. It is a bit daft, but if I can pull it off, this will be even better than it is already. The greatest, smallest off-road camper van the world has ever seen. I should probably get some spanners out, shouldn't I? Oh, this one's broken. Another thing for the shopping list. It's off though. Oh, you little... Right. That has got a Torx head on it. I've been spinning it for about an hour. It's just a little pin, it's just a little plastic thing. Awful little lying clip. But it's out. Should also break. How many things have broken already? Now, another genius thing about my smart car is that the bonnet doesn't hinge or trap your fingers or any of those things. You undo these two little clips and it comes off completely. And you can pop it in there like that while you work on it, or put it over there. If I undo enough bolts, it will fall apart. That's my theory. Oh, that one didn't break. It's good. Oh, come on. This is just genius. And I do have a bit of a confession. Back in the day, I was a bit of a geek. I know that's hard to believe now. And I went to a car park, bear with, and pulled up next to another person in a smart car, and we swapped all of the plastic panels over and changed the colours of our cars. I drove in red and came out silver. I shouldn't have told you that, should I? Geek. Yes! Come on. Here we go. Aha. Before I continue, loosen off the wheel nuts before they're clear of the ground. I remember this. Here we go. Down. Beautiful. Okay, now for the exciting bit, fitting the lift kit. I've got a 50mm spacer at the top. That's on the top of the shock absorber. Then these two 50mm spacers, they go in here and here. They're nylon but with a little metal insert. Now normally this subframe here is bolted directly to this bit, but by adding those 50mm spacers, that means the wheel hub is going to sit 50mm lower. So I've got to put these elongated bolts back through there, join it all together, put the nut in the top of the shock absorber, and we are lifted, hopefully. That's as tight as I can get them because I don't want both my front wheels falling off when I'm off-roading. Now, I've got to put the nut on top of the shock absorber and then it's time for the other side. Now that's officially as tight as I can get it. It took about 20 seconds to put that on, didn't it? I confess it took about 2 hours to get the previous one off because for some reason it's designed that it sits in a pool of water and goes rusty over 12 years. That, I'm pleased to say, was a much easier job. Now, as with the front suspension, basically on the rear I've put a 50mm spacer there above the spring and fitted a genius little bracket that basically raises the mounting point for the bottom of the shock and makes it 50mm higher. So all round, we've gone up by 50mm, but the only way to really prove it is to fit some silly big off-road tyres. Now, I can't just bolt this wheel straight onto a smart car because smart cars weirdly have 3 bolt holes. I don't know why, seems ridiculous. They're the only company in the world to have ever done it. So what I've had to do is purchase one of these adapters. That is going to bolt on there with the 3 existing holes and that will give me 4 studs onto which this chunky tyre can go. By tyre I mean wheel tyre, you know what I mean? Oh, that's a bit tight. This is utterly ridiculous and brilliant. That is actually perfect. That wheel arch sits just outside the tyre. And let's be honest, helps it look off-roady as well. Once that's on, some nice stainless headed bolts. Ooh! Let's get it on the floor. I'm excited. Let's get it down on the floor and have a look. Oh, look at that. It's gonna be massive. Oh, it's even better than I hoped. Now, the eagle-eyed viewer might recognise these as roofing bolts, and that's because they are roofing bolts. And some of my friends have suggested they look ridiculous, but I think they look cool. With that little crosshead in them, I think they look more industrial and rugged. The other good news is, because a smart car's made of plastic, it's all a bit wibbly wobbly and it morphs round lovely. The other good thing about using roofing bolts, of course, is all I need is a flathead screwdriver. That also means if somebody wants to rob my wheel arches off me, all they need is a flathead screwdriver. Right, front, other side, then it needs a roll cage. Now I must admit this feels a little bit naughty because Matt spent hours welding up this tubular frame. It looks so good and now I'm painting it with Raptor paint, which is lovely and textured, looks off-roady, but kind of covers up the beautiful welding. However, I've experienced this before. When I did the ambulance, it worked an absolute treat, and actually painting isn't my forte, so this makes even me look good. Well, better. Carefully Tight fit. There we go. Look at that. Now this one's a bit tight, so I'm going to completely misuse this ratchet. It's working though. Right, now does it fit all your hard work? You got it? Right, so I've got to connect these up. Fortunately, they're a bit idiot-proof, these, aren't they? I've never had a winch on a car before, but I've always wanted one. I'm not sure having it on a smart car is the wisest move though. Right, do you want to hold that and I'll get these? Right, sides on? Yep. Sides on. Right, I need to go first. I'll watch the front end. To me a little bit. Oh. Right, other side. Oh yeah. You in? See, I'd have put that spotlight on just for show, but you've actually wired it up for me. My actual goodness, what have we created? Wait till it's covered in mud, it'll look even better then. Right, bolts. If you've got a car that hasn't got spotlights, it's not an off-roader. Right, how should that sit there? Do you want to know a secret? I'm basically building the toy car I wanted when I was a kid, in full size. Now you might be asking, why have I spent many man-hours fabricating an external roll cage? And by me, I mean mainly my mate Matt. Well, the reason is really, A, it looks so cool. B, I needed to support a roof tent. Basically, I've convinced everybody I'm building the world's smallest off-road camper van, and the only way to do that is by not sleeping inside a smart car, but by sleeping on top of a smart car. Now, as you might have noticed, it's got a fabric roof, so you can't actually mount a roof tent directly to that. So all of this intricate curvature is basically so I can stick a roof tent on the top. But also, it looks amazing. I've mounted my LED spotlight there, spotlights on the front. It gives it that extra stance, it protects the wheels, gives it that haunch. It just looks so cool. Anyway, time to fit the roof tent. So this slider goes on the roof tent that way. Then through there. There we go. Right, that needs a little bit of slack because that's going to go into the roof tent. Slide in. Perfect. Same again. Let's just make sure. Yes. Yeah, that's the one. And look at that, the roof bars are exactly the same width as the roof tent. Yes. Right, take this off. The same dimensions. Another one. Definitely tight, but it's better tight than loose, I suppose. These go on top of my car. I think I leave them loose, lift it up on top of the smart car, and then work it out. But actually, before I do I want the tent to fold out over the driver's side or over the passenger side? Passenger, so I can get in and out of the driver's seat, but why would you get in and out of the driver's seat when you've got a roof tent opened up? Or passenger side, available, because that's where I'm going to store the fridge, the toilet and the shower and my bags. It should open over the driver's side. Or should it open over the passenger side, because actually then that shelters the passenger side door. I'm going to stick it on, see what happens. Now most people, when they fit their roof tent, they have to get a spanner, get it in there and faff about, and I don't need that. Because I've put a roof tent on a convertible car. So I can do it from under here. That's how you fit a roof tent. And before someone comments and says, oh, you should have gone up through the roof of your car into your roof tent, believe me, I've considered it. It's quite hard to get in and out of now because I've got big steps and it's a lot higher, but it looks good. Here we go. Now you can't have a camper van without gas hobs and a sink. Look at that. I think it's time to load up the smart camper and go on an adventure.